Raw live. Uh, gonna be getting ready for work in a few minutes, but I thought I'd do a quick little red eye raw, and I thought I'd do it live. So, just thought I'd talk about collecting, right? Because as you guys know, I dabble in collecting here and there on the channel. Like it's a big part of the channel. My primarily things I collect are DVDs and Blu-rays, as well as VHSs. And I've branched out to things like Laserdisc and VCD here and there as well, right? But in addition to that, I have other little areas where I do just a little collecting, right? Like I've got a couple of special coins, like I've got some foreign coins and some like old tokens for like strip clubs or arcades and stuff. And I've got a few other things. I collect some comics and some books to some extent, but again, it's much more limited than the DVD, Blu-ray stuff that I collect, obviously. Um, but with collecting, my philosophy on it is different than a lot of collectors, right? Like obviously, I don't really go out of my way to find like sealed inbox stuff, because I use the stuff I collect too. Like I don't just buy stuff that I don't plan to use. Now there are some exceptions with some of these things, but like for instance, what I mean by that is I don't often go out of my way to get like duplicates, right? But there are exceptions. Like South Park, at one point, I was trying to collect every single release, despite the fact that I had already owned every episode multiple times over at that point. But I kind of died down on that a little bit as my interest in South Park waned as time went on. But other things that I collect, I don't do that as much. Like there's some things I like to have on VHS too because it's cool to own it on VHS, or I like the box art, things like that. But I don't go out of my way to get like first editions of stuff and things like that. If I can, cool. But like I don't like to spend a ridiculous amount of money on something when I can get that same thing for a lot cheaper with like a re-release. Obviously, like I said, there are exceptions, and if it's something I really, really like, I'll go above and beyond with the collecting. Um, but one of my favorite things when I collect is when I buy something for like $40, and then like a year later it spikes up to be like multiple hundred. Like I don't like that. Hey, it spiked like that, but it makes you feel special. You know what I mean? It gives you this sort of exclusivity and feeling to it, where, like for instance, Yoritsuki Doji, the Perfect Collection. I got that for like $30 or $40. You'd be hard pressed to find it for under 200 now if you're lucky. Like, I occasionally see it go for like 140, but usually it's like between 2 and 500. But I got it for like $40. Or like that Boogie comic I got that I spent like $15 to $17 on, and it goes for over 200 now. It goes for like 200 to 250. All the Boogie comics are super rare, by the way, the physical copies. There are digital copies, which is how I have 1 and 2, but I have physically owned 4. I do not yet own 3. But I haven't even finished reading one because I've been reading it with Google Translate. But usually I'll just get the one version of something. There are times when I will upgrade something, and when I upgrade, I don't get rid of the old version. Like Violence Jack, I technically own 3 copies, right? Because the original copy I bought ended up being a bootleg. Then I got the Discotheque re-release. And then Discotheque did the Blu-ray, which the only reason I upgraded is because the Blu-ray integrated the uncut scenes into the actual episodes rather than just having it be a bonus feature. Um, I've never been one to like collect like games in like box and stuff like that. Like I buy video games from time to time, definitely to a lesser extent than movies and TV shows. But I've never been one of those people who's like, oh, let's buy this in box, sealed and graded and stuff like that, right? Like I can understand why some people do that for the appeal, but like for me, that's just not what I do. Like I mean, maybe if I got a good deal on something kind of rare, or if I found something and then I got it graded, maybe, you know what I mean? Like if there was something like that, but even then, it's never really crossed my mind. Um, but obviously, with my Pokemon cards, the Charizard I have is great. I think it was a Charizard, right? Um, but that was just like a random thing in a pack I bought where they included one graded card. Because I do collect cards too. Although my card collection is all like a bunch of different kinds of cards in one binder. I need to get another binder so I can continue my card collection and put some of the other cards in there. But it would probably drive a lot of collectors nuts that I put Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Illuminati cards, Watchmen cards, Fallout cards, Simpsons cards, and did I put the Mario cards in there? I can't remember. But putting all these cards in one binder, now, the Mario ones might have been too big. I don't remember. But the fact that I'm combining all those into one binder would drive people nuts. My collection's also very like disorganized, as you guys would know if you've watched me for a while. I need to reorganize it. There's some little sections that are organized, like all my Takeshi movies are together, and a lot of my Gona Guy stuff is together. Not all of it. Some of it's over there, some of it's over there, some of it's over there, but a lot of it's in there. And the vast majority of the hentai is in that little closet. But it is very disorganized. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk about that because like though I do like to collect things for the sake of collecting them, I do like actually using them. So that's why I don't go out of my way to get like sealed in box stuff. If it's something really rare and I come across it sealed, I'll pick it up for if it's like a good price. Or like if it's like a screening copy, like I have with Jurassic World, I have not Jurassic World, The Lost World, which is Jurassic Park 2. I have that on a VHS that's a screening copy, sealed still. And I don't really plan on opening that because there's plenty of other ways I can watch that movie. But like that's like one of the only instances I can think of that being the case. Usually I do like to just be able to open it and use it. When possible, I'll get stuff complete in box. That I do like to do, but it's not something I like. If I can't get it that way, I'll get it another way. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like a lot of people like will like because obviously like with bootlegs, right? Bootlegs are unofficial and all that. But even with bootlegs, there is some sort of collectability in like older bootlegs that are kind of rare. Like the Anime Labs VHSs of Dragon Ball, or like Ed, Edd n Eddy season 4 Thailand release, stuff like that. There is still a collectability to that too that a lot of people will overlook just because it's not official, but like those things can get pretty rare. Or like an actual copy of Insuring Your Place in Hell, like because the copy I have of Insuring Your Place in Hell is a bootleg of it, and it itself was never like officially released with anything. It was just like a mixtape thrown together. But like the version I have isn't even that. Like I bought it on like eBay, and it was like fucking a blank like disc with no writing on it in like a thin case with like a paper insert thrown in there. But yeah, like I said, collecting is fun. It's definitely a fun hobby, but I definitely don't do it to the same extent that a lot of people do, just because I like to use the stuff I collect, and I like to collect stuff that I will use. Now, granted, with my with when I buy Japanese PS2 and PS1 games, I will install them on my PS3 because that's modded to let me install them directly to the hard drive, so I never have to use the disc again. So those discs don't get worn out. Well, you don't really wear discs out, but you know what I mean. They don't get scratched. You know, one thing that is like the scourge of collectors when it comes to discs is stuff like disc rot. I only have a few things that have disc rot. The old Malaysian bootleg I have of Dead Man Wonderland has disc rot, but it's not like bad. It still works just fine. It just gets along with some players better than others. Not that it matters because I have an official copy of Dead Man Wonderland now as well. Or my copy of Chasing Amy, the Kevin Smith movie, has disc rot. It still works. At least last time I checked it. It has been a while since I played either of those DVDs, to be fair. But like it doesn't work in every player. It just works in some. Snakes on a Plane has a similar like there is no visible disc rot on my Snakes on a Plane disc, but it literally only works in my PC drive. I don't know what it is. There's some sort of flaw in the disc. It just doesn't load in regular players or consoles. But it works just fine in my PC and VLC. I don't know why. It's really weird. But obviously I also collect things in different regions on DVD because I have that region-free player, which hasn't actually been hooked up since we moved. Like my PC can play any region DVD on VLC because, you know, it's not region locked. Because it's a PC. They're just not. But like we also do have the PS5 here in the TV room set to region 2, which most of my imports are. A lot of them are region 4 as well, so I want to hook up my actual region free DVD player, but I don't really know how with this TV because like it's really tight against the wall. I don't even know if it has fucking component slots. We just never got around to it. We just set it on the entertainment center and then just stacked a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays on it. Um, but nevertheless, I don't have a multi-region Blu-ray player, so I only own one Blu-ray that's besides Region A, and that's the Blu-ray of Ren and Stimpy from Germany, which I have no way to physically play because I don't have any sort of way to play other region Blu-rays. But yeah, that's always a thing when you're collecting DVDs. I love you, Red Eye, no homo. Okay, Stormy. Kiss, kiss, right? um, oh, that takes me back. I used to say that at the end of my videos sometimes. Um, anyway, that's all I really have to say about collecting here. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter Red Eye Raw. I am going to start getting ready for work here in a second. There are some things I buy in compilation sets or like complete sets to save space and money. It's funny because some things I'll start buying one way and then I'll buy it another way. Devilman Lady, I own 2 copies of Volume 1. Actually, one of those might have disc rot. Yeah, I think one of the original copy I have of Volume 1 has disc rot. And so it actually, Episode 4 doesn't work. So then I had another copy of Volume 1 that I got that did work. But then later on, I went and bought the Blu-ray when Discotech re-released it, just to upgrade it. So I guess I did do that. There are cards in the Devilman Lady ones that I have most of them, except for I think Volume 2 or 3, I can't remember which, didn't come with the cards because I bought them all used. When I buy stuff for my collection, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be used. Well, when it's something I really want to support, I'll buy it new if it's like still coming out and stuff. If it's Funimation, I literally always buy it used. They do not get a cent from me. Fuck Funimation. And that, that expands to Crunchyroll because, they don't even use the Funimation brand as much anymore. They just use the Crunchyroll brand now ever since they bought it out. I guess I do technically still give Sony money in the fact that I pre-ordered Plumbers Don't Wear Ties on PlayStation because I didn't realize it was also on Xbox. But I do minimize the money I give Sony. That said, I also have been using my PS4 for AVGN Adventures, which I bought 3 years ago. By the way, I did record a review of AVGN Adventures, so that's going to be going up later. I haven't edited it yet, but I did record the audio. So look forward to that, I guess. Other than that, that's really it, I think. A little rambly here, just talking about collecting as a hobby, much like turtle saving is a hobby. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been Fugitive Red Eye. Have a good one. Doodles.